Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, everybody. Those of you that were here yesterday and you only had to listen to the first hour, this morning we'll have the full 2 hours. All right. So my name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren, and I'm going to be your facilitator for the next 2 hours. Our MCLU this morning, a warm welcome to our webinar for September, in which we will be focusing on all the changes from a legislative perspective for the month of August. All right. So then we've got on my next slide, we've got just a little bit about me. That's me if you haven't seen me, or I mean, you guys have obviously heard me before. That's just a bit of background about me, about where I've been, what I've been doing, and then this is what I do currently. Okay, the webinars and then consulting. What's on the agenda for today? You'll see that we've got quite a full agenda. 5 items under accounting, 4 under auditing, 6 under company secretarial, 2 under employment law, 2 under other laws and regulations, not a lot there in it. 17 for tax, as well as 2 court cases. I should say only 2 court cases. We should be expecting a lot more next month. Regulator news is jam-packed. There's about 18, but very important items. And then under general announcements, which I don't normally have, I've included 2 items here, which I thought is very important, and 2 very interesting articles. All right, I think that affect all of us. So we've got quite a jam-packed agenda. Before we get started, my quote, as always, you'll see the little man. I think we all can identify, especially today being Friday, and me being after the stress yesterday with the damn ESCOM gremlins. We have what we call Novemberitis, which is something that we suffer from when we are in dire need of a holiday. I call it that burnout, I need a holiday feeling. This is my own quote. Okay, so it's Novemberitis, that's what it's called. And I said it's coming early this year because everybody you speak to needs a holiday now. And I think everybody is just burnt out because the demands on our life are just so much more. So at this stage, we all suffer from Septemberitis. So I hope that you can take some sort of break somewhere. We're trying to get away for the school holidays next week. My kids are in public school, so we're trying to get away for that week, but it's also like chicken teeth at this stage. All right, let's start with our accounting update. Under the accounting update, there's not very many relevant items, but I thought that it's interesting. Okay, so under the IFRS monthly news summary, there's really nothing new. And if I refer you to the source document, what I have done is if you go to the IFRS news summary, you'll see that I've already got the document for you with everything that changed, all right, that I found on the IFRS Foundation website. And it'll open up in a second. There we go. The August news summary. You'll see these links will work because it's a PDF document. So if you want to, for instance, go and listen to any of the podcasts of the Standards Committee, you're more than welcome to do that. But really, you can see there's nothing much. All right, there's the response on the disclosure, on the sustainability disclosure standards. It's just um, the responses that they received, the comment letters at this stage. So there's really nothing much in it. All right. The next one is from the ASB, a fact sheet that was issued on the classification of VAT. So what's been happening is the ASB is the Accounting Standards Board, and they are responsible for issuing GRAP in South Africa. GRAP is for public accounting, all right? So it is for your municipals, for the government accounting, the local municipalities, and so on, all right? So they deal with GRAP, which is generally recognized accounting practice, and also normally dealing with the PFMA and so on. Okay, so those are really the municipalities which we know if we watch the news and we just look at the amount of, what do they call it? Misappropriations, right? Good old theft, guys, okay? Good old theft taking place and maladministration, which means that it's not being administered the way that it should be. It's almost everywhere, and they use these standards. Now, they are also issuing a lot more guidance on the GRAP standards so that there's a lot more understanding by the people that need to use it. And this classification of VAT, this fact sheet, is basically the Secretariat's views based on the principles in GRAP 4. GRAP 4 is on financial instruments, the 2019 version, as well as GRAP 108, which deals with the statutory receivables. So this document deals with whether VAT is payable or receivable on specifically financial instruments or statutory receivables. Okay. So they look at basically initial recognition, so the initial classification on the transaction date, as well as subsequent classification. Right. And they also look at whether or not there are differences between the VAT vendors that are on the accrual basis, on the invoice basis, and on the payments or the cash basis of VAT. So whether there's a difference in the accounting answer there. What they did use is they use a scenario to illustrate the whole issue of initial and subsequent classification. There's also an annexure containing a classification number 1 for sales of goods or services, and a second one for classification on purchases of goods. So really, it's not a very big document, but worth its weight in gold. All right. And the reason why I gave this to you, it's not just for people who well, this is what I believe. It's not just for people who use GRAP. If you use IFRS, you'll also find some value from this document. Then the National Treasury from the Office of the Accounting General. Still, again, these are the people that use GRAP and they use the modified cash standards. All right. These are accounting manuals. They published 11 manuals now in the month of August. And you'll see that there are 4 different sections in the financials. On financial statement preparation, 7 is on revenue, 13 is on leases, 15 on related party disclosures. And then there's a very important, a modified cash standard materiality guide. There is the link for you at the bottom for those of you that want to access it, because it's all downloadable from this website. Okay, so you can go and look at those. They are very nice. Okay, they have been issued for comments. I haven't seen anything that the comment period has. Well, it's passed in early September, 15th of September already, but I haven't gotten any feedback or seen anything on the website where they say, "Oh, we didn't receive any comments," or "These are now the final ones." But it's highly doubtable that it will change. Then the ASB issued another document, or they actually issued an approved standard. Okay. They published the new GRAP 103, and it is an updated standard on heritage assets. Okay. Heritage assets are the ones that are used from a heritage perspective from South African point of view, right? So our heritage assets in South Africa. The approved standard has been published, but is not yet effective. So I just wanted to let you know, and it is available to you as a source document as well. Then the DBE, the Department of Basic Education, they issued a revised guideline. They finalized this one in May, and they didn't make a big hoo-ha about publishing it or anything. It was just, oh, it's there. And then when SAICA went through and they said, oh, look what we found this new guideline and it's been updated. It's for preparation of financial statements by public schools. So in terms of the South African Schools Act, the public schools have to issue, or the governing body of the public school have to issue within 3 months, well, not later than 3 months within the financial year end, they have to draw up financial statements. Okay. And the MEC, the member of the Executive Council, has to determine the guidelines by which those financial statements have to be drawn up. Now, this is a guideline that can be used for the preparation, but it has to be adopted by the MEC. So number one, remember, if your MEC is using this one, or if they've approved it, there should be some document that proves it. If you audit the school, right, then that's something that you've got to go and say, well, okay, fine, that's something you need to check for. Even if you are the accountant or you're the accounting officer performing the functions, your first port of call is going to see what did the MEC approve as a guideline. Okay. So I know I presented a webinar on this, on the schools and the audits of public schools and the accounting for public schools and this previous guideline that was issued.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.